So welcome everyone to Gearing for Engineering. This is our first webinar on degrees, courses, and transfer. I'll start by introducing some representatives we have here with us. First, we have Anne Robitz, who is engineering faculty at Front Range. And Anne, would you like to introduce your engineering instructor?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Christy. So I teach several of the mechanical and civil engineering classes. We also have Afo Hassan, who's joined us. He's an engineering instructor who teaches engineering computing and engineering projects.
Welcome, Ann and Afo. And we also have Orlando Cruz, who is the transfer student advisor at Colorado State University for Wolves to Rams. And we'll be hearing from him in our presentation a little bit later on. So we're going to begin by talking about our Associates of Engineering Science degrees, otherwise known as AES degrees. We're very excited about the ability to offer these unique degrees. We worked with the Colorado Department of Higher Education, universities in the state, as well as other community colleges to come up with a degree that would work well for our engineering students. And this new degree type was signed into legislature in the summer of 2021. And Front Range was the first college to offer this degree the following spring semester. Now, the need for it arose because there weren't good options previously. Students could declare an Associates of Science degree. However, there was more general education electives that were needed for this degree, such as humanities courses that weren't needed for the bachelor's degree. So students starting at the community college ended up taking more credits than was needed for the bachelor's degree, and that consequently made them take more time to complete their degree. Then other students decided to transfer without completing an associate's of degree. And often they would be at the junior level with their math and science courses, but then they would need to go and take freshman level and sophomore level engineering classes. And we wanted to make sure students starting at the community college were on the same playing field as the universities. So by offering these degrees, you're taking the same courses as if you started at one of the universities, and you don't have to take additional credits or time to complete your bachelor's. And while these are designed to transfer to complete a bachelor's degree in engineering, you may choose to go into the workforce after completing an Associate of Engineering Science. It's an attractive degree to many industries, such as Lockheed Martin, NREL, Ball. You can work as an engineering technician with an associate's degree, and many of those industries also offer tuition reimbursement programs. And so that can be an affordable pathway to completing the bachelor's degree. We currently offer AES degrees in general engineering, which transfer to certain universities and is also a great degree if you're undecided of the specific field or transfer institution. We offer degrees in mechanical and civil engineering, and coming soon, we will be offering architectural, electrical, and computer engineering. We have recently signed articulation agreements with CU and will be signing with CSU as well, and plan to offer those next academic year. The general AES degree is 60 credits, and the other AES degrees are 60 to 64 credits, depending on the field and transfer institution. Now, while those are a lot of options, if you're starting out, you might not be certain of the fields that you would like to major in, and that's okay because 49 of those credits are the same regardless of the degree type. So you can start out by taking these courses that are common for all degrees. And then in your third and fourth semester, you can start making decisions based on the field you like or the transfer institution you're looking at. And these common courses are engineering projects, and that's actually a great course to explore the different types of fields. And Anne will be talking a little bit more about that in just a minute. And we have our math, calculus sequence 1 through 3 with differential equations, physics 1 and 2 and chemistry. And then for computing, we have computer engineering or engineering computing, computer science or engineering computing, and an English class as well. So these classes are common to all degrees, and then depending on which AES you declare, you'll have 11 to 15 elective credits that you'll be choosing based on those fields. And next up, we will have Anne talk about our engineering courses.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christy. So I'm going to start off by talking about EGG 1040. This is our engineering projects class, and it's one that Christy mentioned that students across all disciplines will take. And we actually see this as a benefit because in this class, it's a 3-credit course. Students are working together in groups of 3 to 5, and these groups are selected to provide a range of experiences as well as a range of skills and interests. So you're working in cross-disciplinary teams just like you would be in industry. The goal with this course is to, number one, learn about the engineering design process, as well as to get some introduction into basic skills, basic engineering science topics like heat transfer, circuits, mechanics of materials, and statics. And so at the end of the semester, the goal is that each team has a design for a project and a functional prototype that demonstrates that design. As you can see on the screen here, the course ends in a design expo at the end of the semester, and this is open to the public. So if it's something that you're considering taking engineering projects at Front Range, you can actually come out on Friday, May 3rd from 10 to 12 p.m. and look at what students in the current semester are doing. This is at our Boulder County campus. Every semester, we have a different theme to design around. So in the past, we've had students tackle the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We've had students design projects based around the idea of upcycling everything. And in this semester, students are redesigning projects and products to incorporate elements of universal and accessible design and make designs that work for people. Students also work with either a stakeholder, so this is somebody who might have exposure to the problem, or an industry mentor, somebody who has tackled similar problems in the past. And students meet up with this industry mentor or stakeholder at least 3 times throughout the semester. We have a number of industry mentors who have worked with Front Range for several semesters in the past. And these industry mentor meetings are excellent to consult about design decisions, to talk about what are industry standard tools and processes, as well as these industry mentors can provide students career advice. So they might look at a student's resume or provide feedback on an application letter. Students also have access to tools. So you may be wondering, how are people building prototypes? In our engineering centers, which is a classroom on each of our campus buildings, classes held inside of these engineering centers where students have access to tools like 3D printers, soldering irons, and other rapid prototyping equipment. And here they get to build prototypes. As you can see on your screen, we present out at the end of the semester in our groups, and this is the winning team from last semester. So the project that they're presenting is an adapter that allows any brand of power tool battery to be used with any brand of power tool. And the course theme this semester was upcycle everything. And so the students decided that they wanted to upcycle existing power tools and make them more universal and accessible. Now, unfortunately, shirts are not included in the course. The students actually went and they printed these t-shirts themselves. Of course, the prototypes are presented to the public at the end of semester, but at the Design Expo, students also have a private presentation where they present to a panel of judges from industry. So we've had folks from Ball Aerospace, Lockheed Martin, Level Engineering, all different types of industries, as well as judges from local universities. So we have judges from CU, CSU, and Mines. And your group will be presenting out your design to these groups, or to these groups of judges. At the end, the judges would score and rank and provide feedback on the designs and choose a winning team. Each member of the winning team receives a $500 Front Range scholarships. Now, it's not necessarily that the project ends right at the end of the semester either. Some groups in the past have decided to take their project to the next level. They might continue to work on it either through an engineering club, to work on it on their own time, or even to enter it in a competition like the Community College Innovation Challenge. All right. And then I'm going to speak as well about several other classes in our curriculum. So while there are a number of classes that you'll take with students from all different degree disciplines, you'll also specialize while at Front Range. And so Intro to Engineering is an excellent way to explore different fields of engineering. If you're really not sure where you want to land, this is a 1-credit class that does a survey of different engineering disciplines and covers what are some common tools and skills used by engineers in these disciplines. You'll also get to see guest speakers, so real members of engineering industry who would provide students with a broad view, day in the life of what it's like to be a mechanical engineer working for Lockheed Martin, for example. Next on the list is engineering data analysis, which is actually taught in combination with experimental design. So I'll talk about these two classes, but you would take them at the same time. Now, these two classes are offered to our civil and mechanical engineering students, and the engineering data analysis is a 1-credit remote online course which introduces you to topics like data collection, sensors, circuits, and statistics. Essentially, it's preparing you how to collect data so that you can collect data and analyze it in hands-on experimental design labs. Experimental design is an in-person class, and this is again geared toward our civil and mechanical engineering students. Both of these classes are primarily geared toward Colorado State University. So if you're thinking about transferring to CSU, you would take these two classes as a civil or mechanical engineer. For that reason, experimental design is offered in person at our Fort Collins campus because all of the students in that class are planning to transfer to CSU. In experimental design, you actually get to get your hands dirty. You'll get to build data collection systems using Arduino, circuits, and LabVIEW. This allows you to practice some basic skills like putting together circuits, using breadboards, soldering, but it will also allow you to practice some basic coding techniques. In this process of collecting the data, you'll also learn how to clean up and to process data in order to analyze it and interpret results. So one example would be using a tensile tester, a machine that was donated to us, which allows you to pull apart different materials. You're physically adding more and more weight to this material until you break it. And we get to interpret what do those results mean and how would we incorporate this if we were building a structure out of these materials. Next up is statics. So statics is also primarily taken by civil and mechanical engineering students. And this is studying the physics of objects that don't move. So lots of things around us are designed so that they do not move. For example, I'm looking at my desk right now. And so in statics, you'll learn about basic design considerations for creating structures, such as trusses, frames, buildings, beams, etc. Now, on the flip side, dynamics is the physics of objects that do move. So again, this would be taken by civil and mechanical engineering students. And in this class, you'll learn about the design of certain systems like gearboxes, incorporating angular rotation and gear ratios. You'll also learn about cycles like engine cycles and what it means when you are a rigid body moving in space. So it's very relevant to machine design. Another civil and mechanical course is Mechanics of Solids. This is similar to statics in that it involves design of structures, but we're now including material-specific properties. So looking at objects can stretch, objects can break. How are we going to use these principles to design systems in the real world? And in this class, students work at teams at several points in the semester to design actual trusses, roadways, and diving boards. The final project in this class involves making concrete columns and breaking them in order to analyze how the shape of an object will affect its strength. Moving on to some of our electrical and computer engineering courses, Logic Design is a class that you might choose to take in your first or second year of an electrical or computer engineering degree. And this will allow you to analyze and design combinatorial and sequential circuits. So you would use Boolean algebra and computer-aided design to design computers. You'll also practice hands-on skills using physical components and programmable devices in a lab setting at our Boulder County campus. Circuits analysis is typically taken in the second year of an electrical or computer engineering degree, and this will involve more advanced circuit design and analysis, including time domain and second order analysis. In the lab component for the circuits course, you would use oscilloscopes and power supplies in order to design, test, and analyze circuits in the lab environment. All right, and I'll pass it back over to Christy at this point.
Thank you, Anne. Next, we're going to talk about our transfer partnerships. And one of the reasons FRCC has such a strong engineering program is because of our relationship with our universities. We work closely with the advisors to make sure our students are taking the appropriate coursework, with the faculty to make sure our curriculum's aligned, and with our transfer enrollment coordinators to ensure that there is a smooth, seamless pathway for our transfer students. First, I'll discuss University of Colorado Boulder's transfer program. We have articulation agreements with CU for all of the AES degrees. So that being mechanical and civil currently, and next academic year, architectural, electrical, and computer. They also have an articulation agreement for general engineering for any of the other fields that I didn't mention. So for example, if you're looking at biomedical engineering, chemical, environmental, you would declare a general engineering AES, and those 11 elective credits I had mentioned previously, CU specifies which coursework you can choose for those credits. They also offer guaranteed admission criteria for FRCC students. If you complete 24 credits with us and certain courses such as calculus, physics, engineering courses, and maintain a 3.0 GPA, you'll be guaranteed to be admitted to CU. And additionally, they are the lead institution for the Colorado Space Grant Consortium, which is funded by NASA. And FRC participates in the Space Grant Consortium. CU hosts all of the events, and you can see below pictures of our Front Range students at the Undergraduate Space Research Symposium. And we also participate in the Robotics Challenge and the DemoSat payload launch. We have another webinar on Thursday for the student experience, and we'll have our Space Grant students present as well as their mentors, and we'll go more in depth about this opportunity, which is funded by NASA and CU leads the efforts on. Since CU does lead it, they offer special opportunities for Front Range students, such as tours of their facilities, as well as scholarships upon transfer. And for Colorado State University, we have articulation agreements for mechanical, civil, and coming soon, electrical and computer AES degrees. And all of these degrees for CSU and CU are designed to be a student completing half of their coursework at Front Range and then the other half of the coursework at the university. Sometimes it's referred to as a 2+2 pathway, but we know all engineering students typically take about 5 years, so it could be about a 2.5 and a 2.5 or whatever your pace is. but you'll be completing that first half at Front Range, same coursework as the universities, and then going to CSU or CU for the remaining half. We also have an excellent program called Wolves to Rams that helps support Front Range students transfer to and graduate from CSU. And we are fortunate to have Orlando Cruz with us from CSU to discuss more about this.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. Yeah, like Christy said, I am the transfer student advisor at CSU, at Colorado State University, or the program coordinator for the Wolves to Rams students. And yeah, I'm here to talk about how to pay for all these classes, right? Because I think is very important. And at Wolves to Rams, we do have two different grants that we offer for Front Range students. And this is a scholarship that follows you all the way to CSU. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between these two grants. The first one is our NSF scholarship. This is a scholarship that is funded by the National Science Foundation. This is a $30,000 scholarship over 7 semesters. So what we do is you do get the scholarship. If you're selected, you get a scholarship at Front Range for 3 semesters. So usually we open the scholarship in October of your first semester, right, at Front Range. We award on the spring, and then you have 1 more year. Again, you do not have to be at Front Range for 3 years, for 3 semesters, right? If you are ready to transfer to CSU, it's okay, right? You do not have to stay, 3 semesters at Front Range and then 4 semesters at CSU. Sometimes we do get, once you transfer to CSU, we get students who do not stay at CSU for 4 semesters, right? So that will be your 7 semesters. And they might graduate early, right? Again, like Christy said, for engineering students, that might not be the case. But again, so you do have 3 semesters at Front Range and then 4 semesters at CSU. The maximum amount of money that you can get at Front Range is $10,000. And then once you transfer to CSU, you'll get up to $20,000. And the amount of money that you get is just based on financial aid, but you don't have to worry about that right now. We do select 30 new students every year. So if you are, interested in applying for this scholarship, again, the application will open this October for the next cohort. If you are already, if you already have a few semesters on your belt at Front Range, it's okay, still apply, because sometimes we get students who maybe change their major, or maybe they decide to stop for a year, right? So we do end up admitting second-year students or students who have already completed a few semesters at Front Range. So again, do not disqualify yourself from these opportunities, because you never know. We do have a wait list, right? We do put students on wait lists. But again, 30 new students every year. And then, of course, all the engineering degrees are included or are supported by our NSF scholarship. The other grant that we have is through the National Institutes of Health, so the NIH. And this is a $40,000 scholarship over 24 months. So what this means is that we pay students to do research. We understand that getting into research, getting that experience is very helpful, and increases your chances of graduating, right? You can put this in your resume. This is one of the opportunities that will make your resume stand out, right? Because what's the one thing that every CSU engineering student has at the end of graduating? It's an engineering degree, right? But what is gonna make you stand out, right? What is gonna put your resume on the top of the pile, right? So we understand that research is very important, and what we do is we pay 6 new students each year to do research at Front Range, so for 1 year. And then when you're ready to transfer, we place you in a lab at CSU. So that summer before you transfer, we will find you a mentor, a researcher at CSU so that you can continue your research. And we have been pretty fortunate to have awesome mentors at CSU, different faculty from the engineering department. Students get to play with lasers and jet engines, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. And again, this will help you to improve your resume and also like make your we've gotten some feedback from students that it gives these opportunities give purpose to their education, right? Their career is not you just going to classes, right? But you're also doing research and getting your hands-on experience on this. Right now, the application for the NIH traineeship, it is open. I believe the deadline will be April 28th. And I'm gonna put, if that's okay, Christy, I'm gonna put the website to our, the link to our website in the chat. If you would like to know more about our program or scholarships, either the NSF scholarship or the NIH traineeship, you can scan the QR code and it'll take you to the application. Again, it is open right now. So please, if you are interested in research, in engineering, please fill this out. Also, the last thing that I'll do, I will put also in the chat. If you have more questions about WOS to RAMs, the transfer process, requirements, anything that you need to do in order to transfer, start planning to transfer to CSU, you can make an appointment with me or my colleague, Erin Pitts. She works at Front Range. I'm at CSU, but still, both of us can help you answer some of those questions. So you can use that second link to book an appointment with us. And yeah, I'll be here if you have more questions.
Thank you, Orlando.
Of course.
The last university we'd like to highlight is the Colorado School of Mines. Now, for the Colorado School of Mines, the general AES degree transfers for all of their bachelor's degree programs. So regardless of the field you're interested in, you can declare that general AES degree. And we're thrilled to announce that this semester we launched the Mines Academy at Front Range. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in our next slide, but I want to highlight the picture at the top of the screen. This is from the Edgar Mine, which is in Idaho Springs, and it was a functioning mine in the 1800s and now has been converted to an experimental mine that serves as a lab for mine students. And as a member of the Mines Academy, one of the things you have access to is a tour of this facility. Now, in order to be eligible for the Mines Academy at Front Range, you have to have graduated from high school, be a Front Range student, and either have taken Calculus 1 or be registered for Calculus 1. So Calculus 1 is our first math class. It signifies you're ready to be on that pathway for your AES degree completion, and you can join the Mines Academy right at that time. And you can start your coursework at Front Range with smaller class sizes, affordable tuition, and many support resources. And while you're taking your courses at Front Range, you will have access to Mine Student Success offices. You'll be meeting with advisors from both Front Range and Mines and be supported by both institutions throughout your time at Front Range. You'll also have access to resources and events such as the Edgar Mine Tour, as I mentioned, or they do a special tour of the school for Mines Academy students, sporting events such as football games, professional speakers, and their career days where they place students in internships with specific companies. They will have spots for Front Range Mines Academy students at their career days. And you can earn guaranteed admission to Mines by completing required coursework. So there's 45 credits that you would need to complete of that general AES, and maintaining a 3.0 GPA, and then participating in some of the events that I had mentioned previously. Now, the reason these universities are so interested in Front Range students is because we have demonstrated that they are successful. Students that start at Front Range, complete the coursework, do well, and transfer to CU, CSU, Mines have all proven to be successful. And that's why we have such strong partnerships with the university. And so we want to ensure that you'll be starting at a high quality program that we work very closely with our universities with, and our curriculum is all in line. And for all the details about our program, you can scan that QR code, or you can click on the link which Anne will be placing in the chat. So that has the information about all of our different degrees and engineering opportunities. Also, as I mentioned, I'm the engineering coordinator. There is my email address, christy.wallert@frontrange.edu. Feel free to reach out at any time with questions you have, and we will have a opportunity for questions. But one thing I want to highlight before we get there is our upcoming Gearing for Engineering events. These you need to register for as a session, so you could do that by scanning the QR code or clicking on the link that Anne put in the chat. On Thursday, we're going to have a student experience webinar. So we will have students at this webinar that are on our Space Grant team, and we'll talk more in depth about that opportunity and the projects related with Space Grant, as well as students from our engineering club. And you'll hear about other opportunities such as the Community College Innovation Challenge, as well as undergraduate research opportunities, such as the ones that Orlando had mentioned. A week from today, we'll have another webinar at 6 p.m. on Monday, April 15th. That will be our industry relationships webinar. We will have representatives from Matrix Technology, Honeybee Robotics, and Tinkermill joining us, and we'll talk about some of our internships and scholarships that are available. And finally, we will have in-person events at the Larimer campus and the Westminster campus, our Join the Program events. At these events, you can meet with advisors, register for classes, tour the campus, meet with the faculty and students and ask questions. And if you're interested in the Mines Academy, I encourage you to attend the program at the Westminster campus on Saturday the 20th, because the transfer enrollment coordinator from Mines will be there and provide more information about that Mines Academy. And so now we will open it up for questions. And as I mentioned, you can either put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself or raise your hand, however you feel comfortable asking your question. So any questions for myself or Anne or Orlando about courses, transfer, Wolves to RAM, or any of the events upcoming? All right, well, you're typing or you want to ask a question, you can still have the opportunity, but otherwise consider the information that was presented, the upcoming webinars, the in-person events. I will be at all of those, as well as Anne. And if you have questions, you can ask those in the future as well. Thank you, everybody, for attending. and we look forward to seeing you at future events.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
AFO.